Welcome, everyone. We are live captioning our meetings. Please look in the chat window of our WebEx meeting where you will find a link. Please click on that link on the web page for the live captioning. So good evening, board members and others. I'd like to now call to order the regular board meeting of the Maricopa County Community College District Governing Board of February 25, 2025. And for the record, I will call a roll call of the board members. Ms. Jackson Long.
Present.
Ms. Butler.
Present.
Ms. Davis.
Present.
Dr. Narini.
Present.
Ms. Smith.
Present.
Ms. Sullivan.
Here.
Dr. Thor.
Here.
And myself. All board members are present. I would like to welcome the Estrella Mountain Student Life Group and ask them to come to the podium and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And then when you're done with that, please stay at the podium for a couple quick announcements, and then we're going to come back to you for what I know is going to be a fabulous report. So with that, I'll stand.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Find it.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Thank you. Hang on. I have one announcement, which is to announce a substitution. Janelle Elias, Vice President of Academic Affairs, is here for Dr. Kate Smith of Rio Salado. While I'm talking about Rio, I just want to commend them and congratulate them on winning the 2025 American Council on Fidelity Insurance Award for Institutional Transformation. Just a mouthful, but congratulations. We can tell Kate we talked about it. Okay, good. So let's then move on to our student life reports. Again, other outstanding accomplishments from Estrella Mountain Community College. Ladies, if you would introduce yourself, and then I'll let you move forward with your presentation.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Natalie Ramirez, and I am a student ambassador within the Office of Student Life and Leadership at EMCC.
And my name is Louisiana Bourbon, and I am also a student ambassador.
And I understand that Talani Garnett is here too with the students. Is that correct?
She is not. Unfortunately,
okay.
She could not be here.
Well, then you're on your own. Please proceed.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, President Smith, members of the Governing Board, Dr. Gonzalez, members of the CEC, and guests. My name is Natalie Ramirez, and I am a student ambassador with the Office of Student Life and Leadership at EMCC. I have with me tonight fellow student ambassador Louisiana Barbon. We are happy to be here to give you a campus update on EMCC and to share the resources Student Life offers. Next slide, please. The Office of Student Life and Leadership provides an environment which fosters the social, academic, and professional growth and development of students. We provide students with leadership opportunities, avenues to participate in community engagement, co-curricular activities, and also provide basic need resources for students in need. Student Life and Leadership is housed in the Student Union. Our Director of Student Life and Athletics is Herschel Jackson. Next slide, please. Our staff includes professionals in the areas of student life, fitness and wellness, and athletics. Next slide, please. Student ambassadors conduct our campus tours, assist with recruitment activities and cultural celebrations, and serve as student representatives on campus and district committees. They also help plan, organize, and facilitate student forums and events. Next slide, please. The Student Food Pantry provides non-perishable food items as well as food boxes upon request to EMCC students. For the 2024 and 2025 academic school year, there have been 2,923 visits to our food pantry so far. 8,293 food items and 45 food boxes have been distributed. Student Life also partners with St. Mary's Food Bank to provide fresh food and produce to the EMCC community once per month by way of its mobile food pantry. The mobile food pantry has given us the opportunity to provide food for 3,075 families and 1,867 family members thus far. Our last event was held last week on Wednesday, February 18th. Next slide, please. And now for programs and events. Our past events include Fall 2024 and Spring 2025 Welcome Week, the Cesar Chavez Luncheon for Hispanic Heritage Month, Fall Fest, Fall Student Appreciation Day, Coffee Talk, the Holiday Angel Program, and the Holiday Reception. And currently, Black History Month events. Tomorrow is our annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Luncheon. Next slide, please.
Student Appreciation Day is something unique to our campus. It was created so that student life could engage students to foster a connection, to let them know they are seen and a part of a campus community, while also showing our appreciation for their academic efforts. Student Appreciation Day is held once per semester. In the fall, there were over 425 students who attended the event. During the program, students were surveyed. 99% of the surveys stated that Student Appreciation Day and similar events enhanced the students' connection to the college. Next slide, please. This year, EMCC faculty and staff adopted Holiday Angels, donating wish gifts to 15 families, 32 children in need. To conclude the program, Student Life hosted a holiday reception, providing snacks, refreshments, and arts and crafts for faculty, staff, students, and family participants of the Holiday Angel program. Next slide, please. Student Life hosts kickoff celebrations and luncheons for Hispanic Heritage Month, Native American Heritage Month, Black History Month, and Women's History Month. Signature events, such as the annual Cesar Chavez Luncheon, feature guest speakers. Juan Alvarez, the first president and founding member of the organization Chicanos por la Causa, was this year's keynote speaker. Next slide, please. Clubs and organizations are a tremendous part of student life on campus. Students who are involved on campus enjoy an enhanced student experience, serve their communities, develop important leadership and life skills, network, and meet others of similar goals and interests. Currently, we have over 20 active clubs. I'd like to share some highlights that took place in the fall and this spring. In September, the Community Connections Club attended the Portal Project Conference in Chicago, where over 1,000 artists, activists, and scholars gathered to discuss various topics. The club has been very active this year. They've planned events specific to campus resources, such as debunking FAFSA, understanding Canvas, tour the makerspace, student life resources, and a music and munch open mic. Psychology Club hosted a spooky presentation in October about the field of forensic anthropology with a Halloween theme. Our clubs also take part in joint ventures, as Fitness and Wellness Club, Psychology Club, and Psi Beta held an outdoor meditation event for students on January 28th. Next slide, please. Market days invite local vendors, performers, and artists to connect with the campus community. Our DEI committee this year aligned our market days with the various heritage months to celebrate culture and business ownership, while also adding to the month's event calendar. Next slide, please. Current and upcoming events include our annual MLK Luncheon, the Women's History Month Kickoff Luncheon, Alternative Spring Break, Spring Student Appreciation Day, Coffee Talk with Administration, and Finals Week of Champions. This spring break, Student Life is partnering with the Sun Valley Animal Shelter to give students the opportunity to give back during the break. EMCC staff and students will be socializing dogs and cats, walking dogs, and helping with landscaping. Next slide, please. Our student athletes are dedicated to athletic and academic excellence. Our 2024 NJCAA Academic All-Americans are Kaylee Bowers for women's golf, Nicholas Goodfellow for men's golf, Madison Yazzie for women's cross country, and Milena Denetdale for women's cross country. This fall, EMCC cross country runners Ricardo Martinez and Lily Gallegos qualified to participate in the NJCAA Division II National Cross Country Championship in Mechanicsville, Georgia. Oh, Virginia, my bad. Next slide, please.
On Wednesday, February 18th, EMCC's Black Student Union hosted the Black Student Experience panel. During the panel, 4 EMCC students, both current and alumni, shared their student experience. The topics discussed range from transportation needs and the inconvenience of canceled classes, to peer mentorship and the newly implemented executive orders regarding DEI, race, and identity-based legislation in colleges and universities. Our students have expressed an interest in a bus circuit between the 10 campuses, as well as a potential route to community resources within our Avondale and Goodyear community. One such being the Avondale Library. This bus circuit would add not just EMCC students, but all students within all 10 colleges who have expressed a need for transportation, especially in cases where classes are either no longer provided or even canceled on their home campus. Another topic of interest brought up by students was the need for mentorship programs on campus. This is a desire to engage more on every level within the college, to build a rapport with faculty, staff, and administration, in order for their voices to feel heard and understood. Finally, an executive order eliminating race-based considerations in admissions processes, scholarship distributions, and identity-based programs at universities and colleges was discussed. There is concern about how this will affect students of color in the district and where that leaves programs in Maricopa that support them. I have a few questions that have been raised by students. 1. In light of recent policy changing regarding DEI initiatives, what issues do you see arising and what would be the approach by Maricopa to combat any negative impact on students? 2. Do you anticipate any changes to how clubs and organizations are structured and named due to the pending executive changes?
Are there more questions? And are you looking for answers? Because I'm gonna have you hold to that because you'll see some comments from the chancellor in his report. We'll get to that.
This concludes the Student Life Report for Estrella Mountain Community College. Thank you very much for your time.
Ladies, thank you. Let me see if the board has questions for you. Board members? Questions? Dr. Narini?
So what do you see as some of the things that the board can do to better support the Estrella Mountain students?
Some of the things that I think the board can do to better support students, not just at Estrella, but at every college, is to have these kind of conversations more frequently. As you know, it's not so often that students get the opportunity to face the board themselves and ask questions and express their concerns. This leads to a lot of very specific concerns going unnoticed and a lot of the board members not having a full picture of the student experience at each college. If we can find a way to make these meetings more accessible to each student on their campus, I think we can see a lot of growth, not just for the students, but also for the board.
Thank you.
Other questions, Dr. Narini?
So just one more thing. What's one thing you want the board to know about students?
Having more, I guess, of these kinds of governing board meetings more accessible. So having something similar like this, how we do on our campus, is a coffee talk with administration on every level at every college, where students can themselves ask administration questions and hear from administration themselves what or where their priorities lie on their specific concerns.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you so much for the question.
Other questions? Ms. Sullivan?
So follow-up question to that. We're restricted pretty much as board members how we can interact to a large degree. Have you been present in any guidelines around our function as board members so that we can work with you? And there's no right answer. I'm just really curious.
I believe currently we have not so far.
So maybe something that we can do is communicate our allowed practice under board governance, because we're eager to hear from students, and we love, I don't know any board member here who does not enjoy the opportunity for the student presentations. And what I've found over time is that often people have I don't want to say misunderstanding, but how difficult it is for us to engage sometimes just based on statute. So I think through maybe student representation, Tamaya, maybe there's our student person, maybe there's a way that we could begin to develop that practice with our students so we could accommodate that learning. And I can tell you want to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, are you in active communication or like contact with your senator?
I am, as I work in a neighborhood services department in my community of Maryville. I'm very active in my personal community, and because of that, I am in frequent contact with my senator, or not with my senator, but with my district leader. And I have met my senator only once in DC.
Oh, I meant like Estrella Mountain Senator.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm so sorry. I misunderstood you. I am not currently, no.
Yeah, I would say make or not make sure, but try to create a relationship, especially in student life at Estrella Mountain with your senator, because they are the ones who represent your specific college, and they maintain communication with me and relay those problems and issues that are hyper specific to your campus and your students as well. So I would say get in contact with them and, maybe invite them to like your meetings and events and things like that, to where you are having those panels or in those times where students are expressing their opinions and those real issues that they're going through.
And just so you know, Tamaya is our student trustee, elected by the student senators on the different campuses. So she would be a great point of access. I also want to just let you know, and you can maybe help us by communicating with students on your campus. These meetings, I realize, not scintillating viewing, but they are available online. So they could sit in the comfort of the living room and listen to it and watch it on the WebEx. Like, it's open to any member of the public, which might then generate comments back and forth, which is a way we can do that under the governance structure. Great suggestions, by the way, and thank you for that commentary. But I'd like for the two of you, at some point, maybe we can facilitate connections so that you can connect with your senators on campus.
Thank you so much for the suggestions. We'll definitely take these back to the students who ask these questions.
Thank you both for your presentation. We very much appreciate it. Feel
you
free to
again.
stay for the rest of the meeting. Again, maybe not scintillating listening, but if you have things to do for schoolwork, we understand if you need to head home. So, great. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And Dr. Rivera, thank you very much for the goodies to go home, emblazoned with your logo. So that's good. Okay, let's move on to the Faculty Executive Council report. And I'm going to welcome back Dr. Lisa Marzio. You are here tonight for return performance, right?
Yes. Greetings, President Bitter-Smith, members of the board, Chancellor Gonzalez, members of the Shared Governance Executive Council, and guests. I'm Meredith Warner. I'm our interim Associate Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. And with me is Dr. Lisa Marcio, who is our past president of FEC. And I have to say, if you've been on the board for at least the last 3 years, you will know that we have been gifted the opportunity by each of our FEC presidents to share a collaborative moment, collaborative experience that regularly our administration staff and faculty have together. And this year is no different because Ramona Goth asked us recently if we could share the work of our AGEC Reimagined, which is the Arizona General Education Reimagining for Maricopa, and the work across all areas of our campuses and our colleges to show true collaboration among our faculty, staff, and administration. Next slide. So we've given you a pretty substantial deck. We're not going to go through the entire deck with you, except to share a few facts around the Arizona General Education requirements in Arizona, are our way of developing curriculum, general education curriculum, that is in alignment with the criteria from Arizona Transfer. So AZ Transfer establishes criteria for us, and our four-year universities accept our completed Arizona General Education requirements as a fully transferable package to our four-year transfer pathways. So if a student starts with us, completes the Arizona General Education requirements that we've established, they meet all of the criteria of the four-year transfer partner. This has been established for dozens of years at the state of Arizona. We have the current AGEC sits in three different categories. We have an AGEC A for the arts students, an AGEC B for our business students, and AGEC S for our science students. It is actually a fairly complicated completion in its current state. So our Arizona Board of Regents, our four-year transfer partners, and AZ Transfer came together and said, how do we simplify this for our students? And so we have been gifted the opportunity to rethink general education in Maricopa. So that's where this starts, is the understanding that AGEC means a completed package of credits in Maricopa transfers fully for our students who are transferring for our four-year transfer partners. Next slide. So I've already explained the policies, so I don't need to go over the slide, and there's a link in here to the AGEC policies should you need them, so we'll go to the next slide. But here you're going to see the newly imagined AGEC that has been provided to us by AZ Transfer. And within it are 6 categories: written and oral communications, quantitative reasoning, social behavioral sciences, arts and humanities, a new category called institutions in the Americas, which is really a civics requirement in the state of Arizona, natural sciences, and possibly special requirements, but not necessarily. And you'll see at the very bottom of this slide that we are allowed somewhere between 32 and 35 credits. If you were to add up all of the possible credits that we could have in these categories, because written and oral comm, we can have 6 to 10 credits, quantitative reasoning 3 to 4, social behavioral 6 to 9, and so on, that it would add up to 43. So the challenge of this particular group over the last several months has been to curtail our requirements down to 32 to 35. And of course, everyone has an interest in this in terms of like their own discipline. And so it has been required work among our faculty, our instructional councils, our curriculum teams to really discern what is going to be in the best interest of our students. How can we get to 32 to 35? And that truly has been the collaborative work. On the next slide, you will see that the first thing that we did was we designed design principles, guiding principles for our work. And these are them. So you can look at these on your own slide deck to see that we really worked in concert with our new bachelor's team. So in our bachelor's degree work, we established some guiding principles for general education at the bachelor's level. And those guiding principles helped to guide us as we thought about the newly imagined AGEC. So I'm going to let Lisa talk a little bit about our team together.
Thank you. Thank you. You can go to the next slide, please. So where did the work actually begin here at Maricopa? In September 2024, the steering team was put together. This was a cross-functional team, as you can see there, of faculty and administrators and staff who came together to come up with these design principles of which we would then do the work. So we have our guiding principles, and we developed benchmarking data. Next slide, please. Then in October of 2024, we put a call out for sub-teams. And these sub-teams were designed for each of those groups: social behavioral, natural sciences, etc. And they would have representatives from the ICs on that. And this is where there were very difficult conversations, to be frank with all of you. There was a neutral facilitator. They met weekly for a couple hours, but they had to balance a well-rounded general ed curricula that would encourage critical thinking skills, good citizenship, and empathy for others, but balancing against the limitations of time, finances, transferability. But they came up with their recommendations, and this was not course specific. They were not saying what courses should be accepted or included in those categories. They were just coming up with their recommendations of the ranges. Next slide, please. This information then was shared in December 2024. It came back to the steering team. The steering team then went out to the DCC, so the District Curriculum Committee. There's been 2 rounds of feedback with that group. Next slide. And so with all of this information from the sub-teams, from the DCC, the steering team has been working on weighing all of the data given and all of the recommendations. It says here that they've provided their recommendations to the provost. We have not yet done that. We hope to do that in the next week or so, which we will provide our recommendations. Again, these are not easy conversations to come up with. So we want to make sure that we have looked at everything before we bring this forward to the provost. So the provost chief academic officer, we will be bringing that information to her soon. Next slide. And then once the provost agrees with our recommendations or not, hopefully she will, the newly imagined AJAC will be rolled out for implementation no later than fall 2026. And as you see here, the General Ed Council, which is also comprised of faculty and staff, will then use those category ranges, those credit ranges, to help reimagine the current curricula that we have in the course bank. And it will be up and running for fall 2026. Slide. Any questions on this?
Questions for Dr. Warner or Dr. Marzio? Or both? Dr. Narini?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Thank you for this. This is great because I know the AJAC is so important. As a school counselor, I know how confusing it was. How much feedback? I mean, what we had some discussion earlier about dual enrollment. How much feedback did we get from the dual enrollment, and how will we help to funnel this into the dual enrollment classes that we offer so we can get students their AJAC while they're still in high school?
Well, I'll be very candid when I tell you that we didn't necessarily involve a member of our dual enrollment team, but we did have student affairs professionals, both VP and dean level, with our steering work. And we are regularly communicating with Dr. Brock and the team associated with dual so that they're well informed of the current work. But curriculum, as you know, is really the purview of our faculty in terms of its development. And they felt very strongly that we really look at this first level of implementation to make sure it aligns well with our program pathways and the curriculum associated with it. And so out of respect for that process, this has been largely supported both by administration and staff, but largely by our faculty and our discipline faculty to ensure the foundation supports their programs. But it will be strongly rolled out with additional feedback for implementation across all areas of our advising areas, our enrollment services areas, and certainly our dual enrollment areas.
I just want to pull out another one of my soapboxes and stand on it to talk about how important it is for those folks who are actually implementing these kind of programs and procedures to make sure that their voices are also heard and considered.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Other questions from board members? If not, thank you to the whole team for your work and your presentation. We are now at the Adjunct Faculty Association report. Kim Bosch. Welcome, Kim.
Good evening, President Bittersmith, governing board members, Chancellor Gonzalez, the members of CEC, and the guests this evening. I am excited to be talking first off tonight about our spring celebration of the Outstanding Adjunct Awards. We just sent out the call for nominations last week. Our Outstanding Adjunct Awards honor 3 adjuncts at each college, so 30 members total. And nominations can come from fellow adjunct faculty members, residential faculty, staff, and students. And last year we actually had quite a great amount of student nominations, nominating their favorite teachers and giving us reasons why. And so our event will be taking place here at Rio in the Conference Center on April 18th. And we're looking forward to honoring our adjunct members and our outstanding adjunct members that night. We had our most recent AFG meeting a week and a half ago, and we had a very lively discussion about several topics, one of them being upcoming compensation issues that we'll be sharing with this CAC committee or CIC Council, and the other being shared governance. We have realized that not all adjunct faculty enjoy the same opportunities to participate in shared governance at each college in an equitable manner. Part of it is because the shared governance structures are still being developed. They've redeveloped the district shared governance plan, but the colleges are all at different stages of their development. Some already in existence for 5 years, other ones still in the process of being worked out. We realized that this is actually a great opportunity for us to discuss this matter and address it, because we could perhaps be part of the building of a better situation. We've convened a committee to meet on this, and we're starting out by asking some basic questions like, first of all, what's the goal of this? What is our objective that we want out of this? And who do we want to present this to? How do we want to involve the different parts of MCCCD? And how can we give all of our adjuncts a better opportunity? Many adjunct faculty teach at more than one college, and if they're teaching different places and don't have an equitable situation to participate in shared governance, we want to make sure that we can find ways that can offer that. One of the things that we want to do is do a compare and contrast, find out what opportunities are being given, where are the gaps, and what can we do to see what is already in existence that can be shared or can be made better. So we will continue to update you as our committee meets on this and develops our ideas to share with people and to get some feedback. Our handbook team, our adjunct faculty handbook collaboration team, is meeting again to discuss updates, as is our internal AFG bylaws committee. And so we will share with you as we progress on that towards the end of the semester. And then I'd lastly like to highlight the work of a couple of our reps at Estrella Mountain. Mary Broding is one of our newer members from elected last year, and she's developed a Canvas course to update adjunct faculty with a one-stop location for a variety of communications and messaging. It's a Canvas course that's updated weekly with all of the campus and district communications, thereby providing a one-stop shop to find current information. Mary also shared about how they're working to bring back their cafe credits, and so also some workshops for March and April. And both of our reps at Estrella would be playing a part in this. Mary with a virtual option and Salvador Franco Carbajal leading the face-to-face option in conjunction with their VPAA. That concludes my part of tonight's discussion, fairly short and sweet, and I thank you for the time listening.
Are there
Any
questions?
questions?
Are there questions from the board?
Thank you for your
Seeing
time.
none, thank you very much. Okay. And then we are at our staff representation update. Miss April Rowland, do not see Jason, so are you solo tonight?
Just solo, just me and a rep from Estrella.
Great, wonderful.
Good evening. Good evening, President Bittersmith, Governing Board members, Chancellor Gonzalez, members of SGEC and guests. Next slide, please. So these are some areas of concern. This came from the staff, and they wanted us to share with everyone this evening. So federal and state Department of Education. So obviously the Dear Colleague letter that came out on February 14th, the removal of DEI, fears of immigration enforcement, demonstrations on campus, budget allocation model, and return to office. Next slide, please.
So addressing some changing needs, a lot of these already being addressed. Communications is being addressed through the institutional guidance and coordination, employee relations through procedures and case management, recruitment and onboarding, the applicant tracking and talent management, and the student recruitment and retention, customer service management. They're looking at new systems to have better customer service relations management. Next slide, please. So as we're going through all this right now, we're trying to build a healthier community. So we reiterate to our staff members, let's lead with empathy, find common ground, and respect different perspectives. We celebrated Arizona's 113th birthday on February 14th, and MCC and GCC's 60th birthday is next month. And I would like to introduce our staff rep from Estrella Mountain Community College.
Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tracy Denton, and I am the staff senator at Estrella Mountain Community College. Next slide, please. Next slide again, please. So I am here tonight on behalf of the staff representatives at EMC, and I would like to highlight some of our achievements that we have made this year. Next slide, please. Our biggest achievement at EMC is the creation of our new shared governance model. Our work group consisted of senior leadership, faculty, and staff to ensure that all constituents had a meaningful voice in our decision-making process. This collaboration led to the creation of our new shared governance manual and structure. Our efforts have been commended by other colleges, including district leadership, resulting in several of our sister colleges incorporating aspects of our work as they develop their own shared governance structure. Next slide, please. Beyond our participation with shared governance, EMC staff reps have had numerous highlights this year. We have developed a standard operating procedure and a concern form, which we use to guide our work and create consistency when we're handling employee concerns. Our goal is that this process is going to serve as a foundation for the eventual creation of a policy that can be implemented by staff representation at the district level. We also publish monthly newsletters and host quarterly campus engagement activities to keep our staff informed and to provide an open space for them to ask questions and discuss any concerns that they may have. Next slide, please. What we are most proud of, though, is the relationship that we have been able to build with our senior leadership team. We have established open lines of communication. It allows us to create many opportunities for our staff voice to be heard across all the areas within the college. Next slide, please. And then lastly, I just want to highlight some of the exciting and unique aspects of Estrella Mountain. So every year we host a vet fun run in participation with the city of Avondale, Avondale Fire, and Avondale Police Department to fund scholarships for our veteran students. We also organize monthly Estrella Market Day events featuring music, crafts, food, and local vendors to celebrate heritage, culture, and community within our campus. And as our student ambassadors already mentioned tonight, our student services team has been able to offer direct support to many of our students through our food pantry and our emergency funding. Next slide, please. And that is all. I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity to speak to you on behalf of staff representatives at Estrella Mountain.
Thank you both. Let me see if there's any questions from the board. Ms. Davis?
I participated in the vet run last year because my husband is a vet. And I have to tell you, we've done plenty of vet runs in our time, but you guys did it right because it was at 11 o'clock on November 11th. It was great. So congratulations. I really loved that.
Thank you. We love to hear that, and I will share that back with our campus.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. Any other comments? If not, again, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Now we're going to move on to the chancellor's report. I've already set you up for some stuff, Dr. Gonzalez, so the microphone is yours.
Thank you very much, President Bittersmith, members of the governing board, and members of our SGEC, so used to saying CEC, and of course our faculty and staff and guests that are with us So continuing on in the spirit of Estrella Mountain updates, let me share some college specific things. At the start of the spring term, Estrella had enrolled 8,097 students, with the Hispanic students making up 59% of the population, which represented a 3.2% increase over last year. The majority, 76%, are aged 24 or younger, and 59% are first generation college students. In terms of student performance, course completion rates have risen to 79%, up from 75% since the pandemic. And the course withdrawal rates have decreased from 18 to 13%. These improvements reflect the effectiveness of the strategies implemented at Estrella Mountain to support student success. Estrella is the lead Maricopa partner in a $1 million grant awarded to ASU to establish a Blackstone Launchpad benefiting both ASU and Maricopa students. Estrella plays a key role in expanding entrepreneurial resources with over 72,500 students, including participants in Estrella's Work Ready Wednesday series engaging in the program. For over 10 years, Estrella has maintained a strong and growing partnership with Southwest Ballet Theater. This continued collaboration has raised $58,859 and 57 cents. But you guys are right. And we get the 60 cents right for scholarships through performance proceeds, while providing Estrella students with valuable hands-on learning opportunities by participating in the shows. The 12th annual Veterans Day ceremony and 5K that we heard about, proudly benefiting veterans education, saw a record 285 participants this past November, and in the coming year, the event will expand to include all Southwest Valley cities, continuing to grow in impact, and proceeds from the event support the Dr. Ernie Lara Estrella Mountain Veterans Scholarship, furthering our commitment to veterans and their educational success. And for those of you that may not know, who are new to Maricopa, Dr. Lara was a longtime Maricopa employee who retired as the president of Estrella Mountain Community College several years ago now at this point. Strategic goal update. In line with Goal 1.1, Maricopa aims to attract and recruit and engage more students. The College and High School Re-envisioning Task Force is developing a system-wide strategy to offer early college programs, ensuring that every high school student in Maricopa County can earn at least 12 college credits before graduation. A college and high school retreat in November assessed the current state and conducted a SWOT analysis. The next step, a design session on March 24th at the Helios Foundation, will involve internal and external stakeholders, including college leaders, high school superintendents, community organizations, to shape the future of Maricopa's programs. For enrollment, at this time during the spring semester, we're at week 6, or have just completed week 6. The head count is at 89,000, which is up 2.9% over the spring 2024. FTSE is up 3.8%, and attempted credits are up 3.4%. So that's all good news across our system. For a legislative update, the bill to add bachelor's degree programs to the Arizona Teachers Academy passed unanimously through both the House and Senate Education Committees. We continue working with AC4 to advance shared priorities, including restoring and funding adult education. We are actively organizing legislative visits to our campuses, and Representative Nick Cupper recently visited Estrella Mountain, and our legislative team is planning additional visits this spring semester. Significant new partnerships. On February 19th, Governor Katie Hobbs held a press conference at Chandler Gilbert Community College to announce that the Maricopa Community Colleges were selected for Arizona's 6th Future 48 Workforce Accelerator with a focus on aerospace and defense. President Bittersmith and I had an opportunity to speak at that event, and it was a well-attended, wonderful event. Maricopa will receive $6 million from the Arizona Commerce Authority to develop a state-of-the-art training facility, which will provide flexible training spaces, labs, and industry standard equipment supporting both lectures and hand-on learning. Excuse me. The accelerator will enhance Chandler Gilbert's aviation programs, including aircraft maintenance technology, covering airframe, power plant, and comprehensive maintenance, and airway science technology, offering affordable degree and certificate pathways. Leadership from the Arizona Commerce Authority and industry partners, including Honeywell, Boeing, and Mesa Gateway Airport, were present at the announcement. Some additional announcements from Deanna Villanueva Salcedo's team. Over the course of the fall 2024 election cycle, Maricopa site saw 130,166 voters. These numbers exceeded expectations and reinforced our commitment to civics and community. So that's quite a number of people that came through our polling sites. We celebrated Dr. Smith's, or President Smith's college receiving the 2025 American Council on Education Fidelity Investments Award for institutional transformation. So congratulations again to the Rio team. I'd also like to extend congratulations to our very own President Bittersmith, who was named among the 25 honorees for the 25th Annual Outstanding Women in Business Award. This prestigious award, presented by the Phoenix Business Journal, recognizes remarkable women for their contributions and achievements across various industries, including education, real estate, healthcare, and nonprofits. Congratulations, President Bittersmith. And before I close, I'd just like to say something. There's a lot going on external to Maricopa, particularly in a political sphere of our country. And so let me just say something and remind everybody that the mission of the Maricopa Community Colleges is to ignite talent, transform lives, and enrich communities through teaching, learning, and service. We will continue to proudly undertake this mission every day to serve all of our students. Leadership has been working diligently to understand the impacts to the district as it relates to President Trump's executive orders, and recently issued Department of Education's guidance regarding DEI activities and race-based preferences. A complete audit of possible impacted programming and activities is being conducted and will be assessed for any necessary adjustments or changes. The district has taken a proactive approach to ensuring that it is in compliance with all state and federal laws. Thank you, President Bittersmith and members of the board. That concludes my update.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. Any questions from the board? If not, thank you very much.
I just had one, just a reminder to make sure we send that to the students because they were the ones asking about stuff happening from DC.
And maybe Dr. Rivera, we can communicate how we do that. Well, I deferred those answers, understanding the chancellor was going to do it in a much graceful fashion than I would. So, okay, good. Okay, I do not, I'm a citizens interim. I do not have any cards, Ms. Macia. We don't have anyone here, which means we can move on to the consideration of the consent agenda. All items on this section of the agenda are consent matters unless they are removed from the consent agenda at this time. Do any board members or the chancellor wish to remove any items from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Dr. Dorini, second.
Second.
Ms. Sullivan. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? By unanimous vote and the student advisory vote, the consent agenda is approved. We have no non-consent action items. We do have one first read and information item, which is the employment and separations report from December 7th, 2024 to January 17, 2025. Board members, are there any questions on this item? If not, we have the first read of the Maricopa Community Colleges Governing Board Policy 4.5 regarding board meetings. Board members, are there any questions on this item? None. We will then now move on to monitoring reports. And under that, it was the Budget Analysis Report Fund 1 for the 7 months ending 1/31/2025. Again, board members, any questions? Again, seeing none of those, we will move on to the Community Linkage Report. And I always pick on Ms. Jackson Long, but if that's okay, I'm going to start with you again.
Yeah, I had to write down the stuff that I did this month actually. So, I mean, let me start with DC. We attended the conference in DC, which was very insightful, especially in the current nature of our times. And there was a lot of great people to meet and talk to and just learn from. And yeah, everything was it was a great time in DC. Besides the the incident while we were trying to take off, it was my first time experiencing that delay in the planes, but it was an amazing snowstorm. So that was a great time. But beside that, it was great. We learned a lot and a lot of stuff to take back with me. Also, I attended the Student Empowerment Summit, which was also a great time. A lot of great speakers and a lot of great workshops. In particular, I attended the the one where we learned about resume building, cover letters, and things like that. Um, from Kyoki. He did a great job there. It was a lot of great students and inspiring positions and things like that. It was really great time to speak with people and learn about more, community relationships and things that can benefit students and things that they can take part in as well. Um, Happening at Gateway, we recently had a student life and leadership wellness retreat we took part in. We learned a lot about, getting caught up in academics and personal life and balancing, work too, as some students naturally have to, balance jobs as well. We learned about, not forgetting to take care of yourself. And, that goes beyond things such as, just eating or, making sure to, just give yourself a break and things like that. So it was a great opportunity for students to become engaged in that as well. I also attended or was a part of the All Arizona Academic Award ceremony. It was such a great time seeing, students being celebrated for the hard work that they go through. And the way they were able to shine throughout their time at community college and how it was being rewarded as they transfer on to universities and continue their work and their passions and things like that. Really great food, by the way. They did a really great job with the food as well. So I did that. And then lastly, with our STEM Scholars Group, we were able to take a trip to the Limb Lab. I'm wearing their shirt that they gave us. I'm really surprised they let us have it, but I had to ask, if you don't know what Limb Lab is, it is a prosthetics company for people or patients who, have lost a limb or extremities in general. They do, legs, feet, arms, and hands. I think that was really great. They were so happy and welcoming to, show us and tell us more about their work. And you can really tell they're passionate about it and they're really happy with the work they do and the outcomes. And then you can just tell when people aren't passionate about their job. So it was really great to see people who, are about it. And yeah, I really recommend visiting them sometime. They have the whole setup of their work just in the front lines. You can see what they're doing and, patients who have had great outcomes. And they were able to teach us a lot about, it's not really simple to transition from using the leg or the limb you were born with to something that's, artificial. And it's not just physical, it's also on the mental, level as well. And I also learned that majority of their patients are actually diabetics, which was really interesting as well. So, shout out to Limb Lab and, definitely, check them out and learn more about them if that's a sort of avenue you're interested in. And also at Gateway, we had a Black History Month event performed by our amazing communication faculty, Dr. Mims. He did a really great flashback to the past of Black artists in music, such as, Marvin Gaye, Tina Turner, the classics. It was such an amazing performance, and he did such a good job. A lot of more faculty from the older generation came naturally, but we also had some students come, but it was a really great performance. So shout out to us, who did a great job doing that and executing it. And that wraps up my report.
Thank you so much. And so understanding there's more to that story about the Washington plane trip, I'm going to turn to Dr. Narini for his report.
Yeah, the Washington plane trip, that was fun. We changed the flight so that we could get out before the snowstorm. And that flight was delayed, so we ended up on the original flight for the plane in the snowstorm. So part of my report is the ACCT conference where I met with dear colleagues, and we changed the name of our committee to Impact and Success Committee, so that we could abide by other dear colleagues. And then I also attended the Arizona All Academic Luncheon. It's the only way I could get to the All Academic Luncheon, was to attend as board member. And I got to sit with the South Mountain group with Delina and Jesslyn, who were great. They were lots of fun to talk to and gave us some good ideas to move on. And on something aside, I went to PC for the Calculus, the musical. It was a lot of fun. I didn't understand anything they were talking about, but it was a lot of fun. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Doctor. Now, I think there's a T-shirt over there that you don't own yet
Ah.
in the Limb Lab, so you need to talk to
All
Natalia
right.
about that. to add to your collection. Ms. Butler.
Thank you very much. Sadly, I have no report this month. It's been very busy in my personal family life. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Ms. Smith.
Sure. This month, I've been focusing my energies on some philanthropic opportunities for the district. So I hope over the next several months to have some progress to report there. And then also looking at a philanthropic idea at Mesa Community College that I think has some real promise. So hope to also be able to share more about that in the coming months. But it's been really fun to take some of my professional passions and bring them to the board. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ms. Davis.
I had the opportunity to go to the visit with Representative Cupper at Estrella Mountain Community College. I think it went really well. We visited the nursing program, the Veterans Center, and the Makerspace. So I think he was very impressed, and it was good to meet him and get to know him, and for him to get to know the colleges. So I think it went well.
Thank you. Dr. Thor.
I also have no report this evening.
Ms. Sullivan.
Okay,
You too, but DC plane trip.
I did. I left the following day though, so we left with snow on the ground and slush and de-icing, but I didn't leave in the storm. So that was their issue. They sat at the airport for how many hours? 6 hours. Yeah, 6 hours. So I attended the ACCT meeting and had opportunity to attend committee meetings and also serve on a panel talking about advocacy at the governing board level, its integration into college and district activities. Ms. Bittersmith was originally invited, and because she left, she gave the responsibility to me. And I'm sorry she wasn't there because she would have done a great job, but I had an opportunity to do that. So that was good. And then the other one was I attended the Congressional Forum in DC with governing board members and trustees and some senators and representatives, each one who spoke about their commitment to community colleges and how they saw that. It was a very curious forum. But I had the opportunity to actually introduce one of our representatives from the state of Arizona. So that was awesome. Then I had AGB board and committee meetings as well. Consistent theme of board governance. Did that. I also attended the all academic luncheon, and I made a special note to acknowledge Tamaya. She received her all academic award. I had the pleasure to sit with Phoenix College and enjoyed meeting our two all academic scholars from PC. That was an honor. Then an additional activity was I spoke on board leadership and board governance to an ASU master's class. And I'm very impressed with people's commitment to higher education and their desire to keep educating students and using the context of education policy and practice to the best end. So I felt very privileged to do that. And last, I also made a note that I wanted to acknowledge Miss Bittersmith and say welcome to the sorority. But Dr. Gonzalez took that on, so congratulations to you, Susan.
So here's the bad news, Ms. Sullivan. That event is the same evening as next month's board meeting. So guess what?
You're going to be there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh no. Well,
you have to chair.
Well, maybe I could go with you because I keep getting it. I was there years ago in that category, so I always get invited now that you tell me. But darn, I guess I won't.
So then we'll go down the line. Someone will be here to chair the meeting next month. I'm unclear who.
No. Anyway, so congratulations. And thank you, Dr. Gonzalez, for announcing or commenting on what is on so many people's mind and where we are going as a district to do our best efforts to retain and sustain quality education for all students in our district. So thank you for that. And with that, I'm done.
Thank you very much. And I too joined the group, although I had no snowstorm airplane stories at ACCT, primarily to join the Public Policy Committee meeting, which was timely and very helpful, and gave us a lot of information. All of us were gathering information to bring back to the board and to the chancellor and the team. In addition, I was honored to join the chancellor and the folks at Chandler Gilbert for the Future 48 launch for the aerospace program, which was well received by, we had a lot of press there, probably not for this announcement per se, but it was very well planned, Lindsay. That was great timing to cover that event. And so it's exciting as those things continue to progress. And then in addition, as you, Mike, as all of us has been spending a lot of time on webinars, other opportunities to learn more and understand better the changing nature of what regulations that we may or may not have to deal with as we move forward. Again, Dr. Gonzalez, thank you for your comments in that regard. This board is obviously paying a lot of attention and will continue to under the leadership of our team. And so with that, I will remind us that we do have an agenda review on March 4th, which will be on WebEx to get ready for the board meeting on the 25th, which I will not be at, but we'll decide who is going to chair that meeting. There will be someone here for a regular board meeting at 6:30. And seeing no other business, I want to thank you all for your time this evening and let the record reflect that it is 7:35 and we are now adjourned.